Hi there, actually reached the last box. These few lamps you see now, I've shown similar ones before, so we will pass by and not mention these. They have been mentioned in the past, but in the same box we've got a few different lamps which we can talk about. Firstly, looks very much like a squirrel cage. In fact, when I was a kid I picked one of these up thinking it was a squirrel cage lamp and thinking to myself, God blimey, I finally got a squirrel cage lamp. Remembering I was probably a long time ago. But although it's got a squirrel cage filament, it's not a lamp. And have a look at the top. It's a Beretta with the Osram name on it. I think it shows up there. Beretta. And these were used in the early radio sets to control the amount of current that was flowing in a circuit to operate heaters of valves, or thermonic tubes as they were called, and they sort of smooth the current out. They act like a variable resistor. You could not even see that they were alight. When they're screwed into the mains voltage, which I wouldn't recommend, the filament just perceptibly glows red, and the heat that is given out is unbelievable. Probably the reason the centre stem is black. So there are one Beretta by Osram built on the same lines as a squirrel cage bulb. Other makers made Berettas. Some were the same shape, but a lot of the other ones were a totally different shape. Now, moving on. I picked this one up, it's not a Beretta, at my local boot sale. There's no, as far as I can make out, there's no name on it. But looking at similar ones to these, they were, turn that light off, they were made by various companies. I know Siemens made one of these, and they were for the Berry's Magical electric fires. Most that I've seen were in fact, the glass was red, but this is not, this is just a plain glass, so there's probably a red screen of glass between that and viewing. It gave like a coal effect or a fire effect in their fires. It's got a special base, as you can see, bi-pins. The filament, beautiful filament. There we are. Ah, there's a name there. See, it shows you I don't always look at these things. There's the name, Siemens. It's got on here, Siemens made in England, K.M. Berry's patents, Magical. So we got the full name there, Magical Fires. Well, there's the filament that I was mentioning, a typical rough service type filament. These lamps, well, not this particular type, but the more modern ones are still, as far as I know, made today for the coal effect or fire effect fires by the Berry company. Let's see what we'll have a look at next. Let's turn that off. We have a neon lamp. Now these were made in 2 voltage ratings, either 110 or 240. They were Russian. And let's have a little look at the base. There, we've got an M there, and that was the Moscow Lamp Company. They were, funny enough, situated in Moscow. The lamp has got a little M like that on it. Now immediately it's a Moscow lamp. In the Russian language, this one would have been 127 volts. And that's what's written round the base. These lamps tended to blacken up fairly quick. This one's starting to darken down. And in the, shows up better, in the base you've got a resistor, very crudely arranged, not even soldered, they're just twisted together and poked into the base under the actual pinch. They worked. As I say, there was 2 types, and you could tell by the resistor which one was which. Quite an unusual lamp by the Moscow Lamp Works Neon. We're jumping about a bit. Next one we pick up, I show you this inside. There is a name on this one. It is Tungsten Filament. It's intact. It's got many supports, and there's got a name on it as well. And I can find it. There's the name. I think it shows up, but I hope it does. If it doesn't, it's Osram, and there's more writing below it. Just having a close look, I'm pretty sure it's an English made Osram. But it's a tungsten filament, not a squirrel cage. It's a rough service type filament again. There is writing underneath there. It might show up on the video, I don't know. There's the base. Turn that off so it shows up better. There's the base. Quite an old lamp. And it looks like it's a pip top. I remember picking these up from someone many years ago who turned up either at a boot sale or someone said, "Oh, I've got a load of lamps." He says, "Meet me at such and such an area," which I did, and he had several lamps. Where he got them from, I don't know. I didn't ask any questions. In fact, these were some of the first lamps that I obtained. And I say it's a worker still. Now, I've mentioned several times about the mushroom shaped lamp. Now, this is unusual because this is a clear glass. It's single coil, intact, nothing written on the lamp itself. But if we look at the base, should show up. You've got 40 watts. No, you haven't. 240 volt, 60 watts. There's a little L after that. I don't know what the L stands for. I can't even remember where I got this one from. but it is unusual because it's clear glass, which you don't often see. What is interesting though, if you look under the pinch, the two leading wires to the lamp itself, I'm hoping it shows up. It might be a bit of a job. One wire has a thinner section in it, and that is a fuse. Now they would have been glass encapsulated, but in this case the wire is just made thinner, and that acts as the fuse. Standard BC cap and standard filament arrangement. Can't really add to that. So a mushroom lamp. We'll end this little batch with two automobile lamps. This has got a double filament. Got top. It's the base is known as a Bosch type base. I think I'm right in that one. There's nothing else to it. On the etch itself is the name there. It should say Rival. With the filament wattage, 12 volts. And made in England. This was, as far as I know, a small company which produced a lot of lamps for the motor industry. This is one of the headlamps, but obviously for the Bosch fitting base. I think it's a Bosch base. If I'm wrong, someone will correct me. Double pole to operate each of the filaments, one for main beam and one for dipped. Still a worker. A bit of history, automobile history if you like. And finally we come on to the last one of this little batch. Duplo type. That's the number 6728, the identifying number. 6 volt, 35 watt. Once again, this is for a headlamp. NL Netherlands, possibly made by Philips. In fact, there is something written on the front there. Yes, I'm right, Philips. That might show up. Made in Holland, Philips. Now, the reason it's this colour, in France they used to have their headlamps all yellow, or cadmium yellow as it was called, and this lamp I think would have been for a moped or a motorbike. You've got your little shield there to prevent dazzle from the headlamp. As I say, twin filament, main beam and dipped, and that colour was used in France. I remember going across to France, you had to put filters on your own car, like a yellow filter which went over the front of the lamp, because I think it was almost illegal to drive on the normal white type of lights. Mind you, there's less chance of getting dazzled with the French ones, but of course they were dim and you couldn't always see them. The base is also similar base, well, same base to the other one, a Bosch type base, and double pole. Now that ends this little group of lamps. Any questions, please ask. I hope I haven't sent you all to sleep. It's just the fact that it's sorting out something to give me a chance to dust a lot of these plants. I've got plants on my brain. Dust a lot of these lamps, and it's given me a chance to look and see what I've got and what I haven't got. So I thank you for watching, and we'll catch you up again with the next batch. I don't know what it's going to be. I've got so many. And if I've duplicated any of these, I do apologise. It's easy to do that. So once again, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Any comments, please make. And yeah, thanks again.